Alice is a 38-year-old lady who enjoys writing and works for a magazine company. She travels for one of her prints where she corrects her painter that the color they had used for the book isn't the same one she wanted them to use. Painter Oscar complains that they've managed the magazine's color multiple times, but she insists on yet another change, while he argues it's the same as the original color. Alice returns to her workplace and realizes she's been messaging her director, Vincent, but he isn't responding. She calls another colleague, Pauline, to connect her with Vincent, but Pauline says he's busy. Meanwhile, another colleague, Lisa, enters Vincent's room in her short gown and closes the window. She sits at the table to entertain Vincent. Pauline informs Alice that since she left, Lisa has been going all around with Vincent, and Vincent even organized a dinner between Lisa and the company's owner, Kimmel. That gets Alice angry because the opportunity should have been for her. She arrives at the airport after buying a teddy for her daughter. She finds it difficult to put the teddy in the shelf, so a passenger offers to help her, but he purposely slams the door at the teddy to tease her. Alice isn't in for such jokes, so she looks at him awkwardly, appreciates him, and puts it there herself. Another passenger on the plane, Balthazar, finds a little boy on his assigned seat, on the economy side of the plane. He tries to send the boy off, but the boy hits him with a ball. He speaks with the hostess who takes him to the first-class area of the plane. The random man who had slammed Alice's teddy tries to make friends with her, but she isn't interested. Coincidentally, the air hostess brings Balthazar there, so Alice drags Balthazar to sit beside her so she can avoid the man. They stay on the trip and Balthazar tries to be familiar with her, but she doesn't pay him attention. As the trip continues, they get into turbulence. Alice is scared, and Balthazar tries to make her feel better by talking with her. When it gets worse, she fearfully holds his hand. He notices but doesn't say anything, and when it gets better, she removes her hand. They eventually reach their destination and she leaves to take her bag. Balthazar introduces himself to her and she tells him her name. Unknown to her that her pen drive has fallen. She takes her bag and leaves. Balthazar picks it up and attempts to run after her, but the seatbelt sticks him. By the time he gets outside, Alice has left with her sister. Balthazar's friend Genia also comes to drive him, and he keeps trying to call Alice's office to give her the drive. Alice returns to the office and Pauline tells her about the calls. She has more important things, so she doesn't mind the call. She goes to confront Vincent regarding the meeting between Lisa and Kimmel. Initially, Vincent insists it's a coincidence, but later confesses that Lisa's youthful and playful nature make her a better fit for the role. Alice becomes angry and leaves. That night, Alice tries to work on her drive and she notices it is missing. She recalls Balthazar's call, and she takes the number to call back. Balthazar is at a bar during their happy hour period. He picks up her call and instantly gets excited. He is so happy that his friend notices the difference in his expression after the call. In no time, Alice arrives at the bar. It is noisy and two ladies recognize her, and they wonder why she is there. Balthazar introduces her to his friends, and she asks about her drive, only for him to tell her the drive is at his home. Left with no choice, she decides to follow him home. He takes her to his bike and gives her his helmet. She finds it difficult to wear it, so he goes nearer to her to wear it. The two ladies suspect something is between them, and they take their picture to pose on Twitter. Balthazar takes Alice home and she meets his father, Locke, dating a very young girl. While trying to make her feel at home, he talks about several books, including one about dating older ladies. He eventually finds her flash and gives it to her. He sees her off, and on her way he asks her if she would be interested in going on a date with him, maybe for coffee or anything else. But she tells him that she isn't into younger guys, and they aren't a good fit. She leaves and returns home. The following day at work, she feels the atmosphere is off. Everyone keeps laughing in front of her, and she wonders if they are laughing at her. She confides in Pauline, who tries to hide what is happening, but eventually shows her the tweet about her and Balthazar. She laughs it off, telling Pauline it's a rumor. That evening, she tries to pitch her proposal to Vincent again, but Vincent refuses to hear her out. He claims he wished the tweet was a Photoshop and that it is the kind of thing that he wants them to put out. Lisa comes and Vincent tells Alice he wants her to be as free as Lisa. Alice meets with a friend, Simone, who advises that Vincent doesn't like workaholic people and that if she wants to get what she wants, she has to pretend to be what Vincent wants. He advises her to get closer to Balthazar and use him to get what she wants, even if she pretends to like him. She doesn't want to make such a decision, so she goes home and plays loud music. But her neighbor comes to warn her about her noise. The following day, she decides to meet with Balthazar. She dresses seductively and she goes to her school. Her shape and body turn every neck, including that of Balthazar's friend. She is so radiantly beautiful that Balthazar couldn't come near her. He eventually meets her and she lies that she has misplaced his phone number. She asks him to walk her around the school so she can recall her memories and invites him to a show later on. That night, she asks her daughter about music and everything Balthazar might ask her. They arrive and watch the show. When Balthazar goes to get her a drink, the show's organizer, Claude, comes to meet Alice. He relates to her on a personal level that gets Balthazar pissed. And when Claude asks him about the show, he tells Claude how stupid it is for Claude to design everywhere with his pictures. Alice walks around and shows Balthazar to everyone. She even takes a cigarette from Lisa to prove that she smokes. Alice then receives a call from her sister Elizabeth about a blind date she has organized for Alice. Elizabeth lies that she needs to get to the hospital, so Balthazar gets a taxi that takes her home. She spoils the blind date between herself and Richard, Elizabeth's gynecologist, because she is high. She later takes Balthazar along for a fashion show that Kimmel would be attending, and when a model falls, Balthazar goes to help the model up, thereby embarrassing Alice. She also takes him to a club where Lisa and Vincent try to confirm if Alice is getting down with Balthazar. She leaves the party and she takes her home. He changes his mind and sneaks into her house. He finds out her daughter isn't around and starts to kiss her. They drag each other to the bed and they get intimate. He speaks random jargon to her ears and she kisses him intimately. "Well done, my boy. What a way to break awkwardness in bed." They wake up to a rainy morning and Alice allows him to wait for the rain to stop before leaving. He then finds a book written by Alice and gets curious. Alice doesn't allow him to read it and they end up in an awkward position. That is when her daughter Zoe returns with Elizabeth and Alice quickly covers up saying that Balthazar is her intern. Before he leaves, Alice decides to give him a kiss. The following day, Balthazar surprises her with an iPod note and takes her out on a fun ride. In the next scene, they're seen on the bed again, and he asks her why she would date him, but he dismisses himself before she can answer. Later on in the office, Alice expresses to her colleagues that human fantasies are normal and should learn to accept them. Alice starts feeling bad about using Balthazar, so she thinks she should tell him the truth. He gets very sad about it, and Zoe fights with a colleague at school because of Alice's video with Balthazar. The team starts preparing for their next magazine, and they host an important guest, Tracy, for the planning. Tracy refuses to use the male model they have suggested, and she asks that they use Balthazar. Although Alice hesitates, she has no choice, so she calls Balthazar back and drops a voicemail for him. Balthazar has been depressed since the breakup, and Alice visits him. He hastily dresses up to attend to her, and they eventually go for coffee. At the coffee, he tells her about the modeling job, but he refuses and says they should take a break. On the day of the school, Alice tells everyone Balthazar is coming, although Simone advises her to tell the truth. Fortunately, Balthazar arrives, and while he is dressing up, Simone goes to him and confesses that the relationship was just a prank from Alice. Although this angers Balthazar, he goes for the shoot and kisses Alice first. The shoot goes well until Balthazar pisses the videographer off and walks away angrily. Alice tries to beg him, and he calls her an Oscar actress. In front of everyone, he reveals what she has done and walks away. She gets fired that day, and for the next few days, she's so depressed that even Zoe notices. Alice realizes she has to make things right, so she goes to Balthazar's school to find him. She walks into a hall where they expect a speaker and assumes she is the speaker. She pretends to answer their questions for a while before confessing her feelings to Balthazar. After this official announcement, Balthazar goes forward and they start kissing in front of everyone. Alice returns to her cheerful self and prints her new book. Balthazar arrives and reads the book. It was written based on Alice's relationship with him. They kiss again and the movie ends. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a like to help the channel out, also leave a comment if you'd like us to recap your favorite movies. Thanks for watching.